Okay, you ready?
Whenever you are. You kick it out. It's your show. I'm the guest.
Yeah, try not to get too nervous, okay? Hey everybody, welcome back to the UK Americana Barshow. Thank you for joining us. We really do appreciate it. Before I bring you part one of the interview I did with Eric Dahl, our correspondent in Nashville, Tennessee, look at this. We've got all this stuff through the post from a young lady called Kelly at the Blue Ridge HARLEY DAVIDSON shop in North Carolina. Kelly, I don't know what to say. We're speechless. I know your friend Hannah Dasher put you up to it. Thank you, Hannah. We'll be on the phone to you. But you know what? I've got my t-shirts. Oh, you sent me down everything. Got the bottle, the cups. I've got everything. Leonard, thank you ever so much, Kelly. This is so exciting. We really do appreciate it. And we'll be coming to you soon, very, very soon. Thank you, Kelly. So, part one of the interview I did with Eric Dahl. He tells us all about this new award he's got called the Josie's Award. He's got a new podcast coming, which is very exciting. And also, we talk about some of the artists that we've had on the show, including Hannah Dasher. So, part one, Eric Dahl. Kelly, you are a superstar, and we won't forget it. Thank you, Kelly. The Blue Ridge HARLEY DAVIDSON in North Carolina. Hickory. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the UK Americana Barshow. Thank you for joining us. We really do appreciate it. Special guest time. All the way from Nashville, Tennessee. It's the legend that is. Yes, it's him. It's Mr. Eric Dahl, everybody. How you doing, Eric?
Great rejoicing. Sam, it's so good to see you, my friend. I wish I was there in your studio. I think that would make it even better. We could, have a little tea together and catch up. It's like, I feel like I've been seeing you more and more with all these great interviews you've been having, my friend.
Yeah, you've been very lucky. And thank you, by the way, for sending across some of these superstars. Oh, it's been absolutely amazing what you've been sending across. But look, I want to talk about that a bit later on, if you don't mind. Look, so you won an award. And not any old award, a Josie's Award, presented to you in Nashville at the Opry. Oh my God! Tell me what happened. Tell me about.
It was so. It's so funny, Sam. It's been a while since you and I got to catch up, but we won a Josie Award last year. We won a Communicator Award last year. This year, we're up for another Josie Award this fall, and then also we're up for a Signal Award. So we'll see. You never know when you're doing a TV show, and you're doing interviews just as you do, Sam, to where I don't know. It's a crazy game in the awards world, but definitely, I think the artists are enjoying the interviews. I was just telling somebody, Sam, you'll appreciate it. Last week, Webb Wilder was interview 1,111 that we've conducted.
Oh, really?
Since starting back in January of 2012.
Incredible, mate. Incredible.
I'm hoping I can catch up with you at a point, and
I've got a long way to go yet. I think I'm about 700 odd behind you.
But your show's been looking great. And I mean, like we're talking about,
we've been very lucky. We've been very lucky, Eric. As I say, some of the guests, it's like with the artists, the guests that come on, they bring the show alive. And I always have a laugh and a bit of banter. I always put it down to nerves and big mouth or whatever you like. But it comes out, it brings it out in the answer, and they love it. Especially when we do on the spot with a joke or a question. That's so funny. And then Bernadine.
I know all of the artists that I've sent over your way that, if I've had them on the show before you or after you, they always rave about what a great time they have. And it's also an incredible way, there in the UK to be able to let people know when they're on tour and playing shows, all over there. You do a great job, with the Americana and the country music, Sam.
Eric, I tell you what, honestly, I mean this, the guys that've been sending me up, they've been tearing it up here in UK and in Europe. I mean, I wrote down a list of them. So, Stephen Cade.
Right.
Guitars, I mean, the guy's fabulous. And then we had the Reverend Peyton. And with the Reverend Peyton in the blues sector, he's known here that you have to see him live before... see Reverend Peyton live. And he was down at the 100 Club. We couldn't make it, unfortunately, but oh my God, he tore that down. And then we've got Peyton Riley, that was on American Idol. She was fabulous, lovely young girl. Brilliant, great talent. So look, the guys you've been sending across has been quite amazing. And they've all said to me, when you see Eric, Sam, say thank you to him, which is great,
Well, it's so much fun, though, like you're talking with Stephen Cade, and Stephen and I, have been friends for years, and we attend the NAMM show out in Anaheim, California together. And then when he has his charity events here in Nashville, Sam, I get to be the MC, so I get to go up on stage and introduce the artist and the songwriters and everything, and Steven. So that's a blast. And then Reverend Peyton and I go way back to where guitar players and collectors, and his incredible wife, Washboard Breezy, who has the great washboards that she plays. I mean, the whole band is just amazing, and I know that the Rev has been doing well.
Just to tell you two funnies before I forget them, if you don't mind. With Stephen Cade, we had this funny thing about, I hear that you know Captain Kirk of the Starship Enterprise. And he told us this long story about when he was given this award in California somewhere and blah, blah, blah. Quite funny. And then when I got talking to Reverend Peyton, that was even funnier. I stopped him in the interview. I said, Peyton, said, don't move. There's a Bigfoot behind you. And he blasted out with laughter, brilliant,
and I don't know if the Rev told you, but when he was going and playing a show, I can't remember what cruise it was, Sam, but Rev has some interesting instruments, including, basically, slide guitars that are made out of axes, shovels, guns, you name it, anything. And he was preparing to take an axe on board to play on the cruise, and they're like, whoa, sir, you can't take an axe on here. He's like, but it's my guitar, I have to play it. And so you'll have to ask him next time you see him.
But a lot of people got back and they said, with Reverend Peyton, you just got to see the guy live. I mean, also that really, what surprised me, well, a lot of us surprised me. Garrett Bradford, he was incredible. I mean, there's one of our videos, it's gone through the roof about Bernie, our Bigfoot, and Garrett.
Right. Well, and also with Garrett, as you know, Sam, and they sent me over his music, and I knew Garrett from his song that was included in Yellowstone.
Right, the series.
And he's friends with Sheridan, and so to have a song featured on there, and then his new album that he put out is doing so well in country and Americana.
Especially over here. I mean, I really rate him as a country artist. I think he's just amazing. Reminds me of Don Williams from yesteryear. Just something about him,
Yes, you're right. I think with the voice and also with the height. I mean, Garrett, is a big gentleman, and very much a rancher and a country guy. Straight out of Texas.
Cowboy. Well, let me ask about somebody else then. This is great chatting to you about this, but my God, this lady came on. And she blew everybody away. Hannah Dasher.
Oh my goodness!
I mean, yes. She's amazing.
Yes, it's like, and I was, and I'm sure like you and a lot of your viewers and fans, Sam, I was following Hannah for a long time, because I loved her music, I love what she brings to the table, but also with her cooking segment.
Yeah, absolutely.
Stand by your pan, and she's such a character, and she's just bigger than life. And so when I had her in studio, also. It was such a treat, but she's a talented musician and a great cook also, bringing Southern flair. And I know that you guys had a great time with her on your show.
We did. We introduced her to Bernie, our Bigfoot, in which Hannah stopped me and corrected me. She said, "Hey, is Bernie a short for Bernadine?" And I said, "Yes, it is," which it was. Fantastic. So Eric, this guy. Bob, you call him, heavy drunk.
Right.
Did he not take your guitar, your bike once, your Harley Davidson?
Oh no, he wanted to ride it, but he couldn't take it. No. It's like that's my Harley Davidson, Sam.
Is that right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So what he tried to? Oh, hey,
that's
Bernadine.
That's a handsome picture.
Eric, this is Bernie. You know Bernie.
Yeah. Oh yeah. The star of the show. And you, Sam.
Yeah, of course. So listen, getting back to you a bit more now. A little birdie tells me that I've got a bit of a rival now when it comes to a podcast. Are you doing a podcast?
I'm not a rival. I would say, an adjacency to where, and you and I have talked about it. And I used to have one years ago when we started working together.
That's right.
Sam, when I was doing Acme Radio, Gear Gab, downtown off Broadway. And then I did an iHeartRadio show for 3.5 years too, and I took a break from it for a while because as you and I know, a few health issues, and then the TV show started taking off after the pandemic, thankfully. I think it's time. I think just like yourself, I need a little more time, and with television, you're very constrained on the time. To where the news and lifestyle interviews that I do are only 2 minutes long. And even the longer interviews that go into the half-hour show, Sam, 7 minutes long. So I really want to have a little more depth with these artists and bands. So I think I'm going to launch out this podcast. I'm hoping in August is the plan. I've had the logo created and everything else, and so we'll see. You know, I as you know, it's a tough business.
It's tough.
But you know what? I think for people like you and I, we love what we do. And I've had artists asking for me to do a podcast again, just to have more time. Well, Sam, is the main thing.
When the word got about in the industry about that, Eric, I've got to date 53 artists for you from the UK.
Yay! That's amazing. We get to trade back and forth.
Don't forget me. I've got to come once a year or once, you know.
Totally. You'll have to come on and talk about it, you know. And that's the thing too, Sam, is as you and I have worked together for so many years, you know, the TV show, we just recorded our 1,111th interview last week, which is kind of ridiculous. And we're going into our second season, you know, this month in syndication. And apparently some more TV stations are going to be picking us up here in the U.S.
You know, I was just about to say, Eric, you know, haven't you gone transatlantic now around America?
You know, we have. You know, it's been amazing, Sam, to where, you know, it only took 13 years, so it was an instant success.
Yeah.
And January of this year, we went from a local Nashville TV show with a few airings in other cities to national syndication. So the show airs all the way to Portland, Oregon, Las Vegas, Nevada, Austin, Texas, all around the country. So we're hoping to pick up some more markets this month, some more TV stations, Sam.
Write this down then. So Josie's Award, transatlantic around the USA, podcast. Where did it all go wrong?
And it only took 13 years. You know, I think it. You know, as you and I talk so frequently, Sam, you know, we both love doing these interviews with music artists, but a lot of it is persistence, and it takes a lot of work. Yeah. And you must keep at it. And also, I think, as you and I talk too, Sam, it helps so much when these artists and bands promote out the interview that we do with them. Absolutely. So then not only for the followers, for us that look to us for, you know, artist interviews, but then their fans find the interviews. And that's what always amazes me, Sam, is to where you'll have an artist that will promote out the interview and then it goes viral. And that's something that, you know, people like you and I desperately need to happen with these artists.
You know, it's funny because it's like, you know, that support and love in the industry, which has always been there with musicians and music lovers, and it is a love, it's a passion. You know, a lot of scientists are now turning around and saying, quite rightly, I think we all knew it, that music is the body of life. That is where it's at. I think everyone knows that now. But when all the fans come along with all these artists and they meet people like Casey Johns and they think, wow. I mean, I've had people go crazy about Casey, and her videos was only out kind of last week.
Great job, by the way.
Amazing. Oh, she's a lovely, lovely girl. And I say about Reverend Peyton again, I've just been told time and time again, you have to see him live. Please go see him live. You know, it's quite bizarre. But you're right. You know, the business, it's difficult, especially in this day and age. It can be very, very difficult, very tricky. But the love and the passion, you can't beat any of that. It's coming at you. Music's coming at you.
Exactly. Well, and I was just telling a college student recently, Sam, to where, you know, and you and I have discussed this, you know, for our shows, to where, you know, you've got to bring something unique. And I think what you bring unique is you bring humor, you know, and just, you know, entertainment as a whole. And what I try to bring unique as well with my interviews, Sam, is just I have a depth of knowledge on music gear. Yeah. And so it's very easy for me to talk with these people about their instruments because, you know, I've played guitar since I was 5 and own more than a few guitars and instruments myself. So, you know, we each have our niche, I think.
P.B. King's guitar, yeah, you know, you own his, mentioning no name.
Well, you know, I own the one that he gave me. You know, I gave back the one that was his. So, you know,